Visible to everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Just hold 2 seconds. We are going to live. Okay, done.
Okay, are we live now?
Yes.
Okay,
All
sure.
the best. All the best.
Thank you everyone. Just let me know when I should start.
You can start, Dipesh.
Okay.
Is there any glitch? Dipesh?
Yes, actually the voice is being doubled up.
So do one thing. If you are wearing any Bluetooth device, just remove it.
Yes, now it is okay.
Yes, sure.
Okay. Yes, first of all, a very good evening to everyone on behalf of DITF. I welcome all our viewers, guests, and speakers to our webinar. Our today's topic is practicing sustainability in our daily life. I, Dipesh Daima, would like to thank Mr. Devesh Dadij, sir, for giving me this opportunity and would like to welcome once again our speaker, Mr. Deepak Sharma and Mr. Pranav Dadij, and our session moderator, Vedika Dadij, Mr. Harsh Daima, and last but not least, our founder, Mr. Devesh Dadij. Yes. Okay, so let's begin with our shlok.
बुद्धियुक्तो जहातीह उभे सुकृतदुष्कृते तस्माद्योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम् योगः कर्मसु कौशलम् योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्.
As you all saw, this shlok is our soul. It means endowed with wisdom, get rid of both good and bad in this life. For yog strive, for yog is the art of working skillfully. Now I take the opportunity to introduce and thank the man behind getting us all together, Mr. Devesh Dadij, sir. He is an independent director of Morarji Textile, a chartered accountant, and the founder of our Dadij International Trade Foundation. As far as I know, he is a very joyous personality. I'll read some lines. एक समाज था हमारा जिसे घर आपने बनाया, बिखरे मोती की तरह था जिसे माला आपने बनाया, तहे दिल से धन्यवाद है देवेश सर आपका, इतने कम समय में हमें बहुत कुछ सिखाया. These beautiful lines are written by our friend Ankita Kudal. Yes, now I'll move on to our mission. Our mission is of creating a community of people who come together for noble cause of economic empowerment, social development, knowledge, and service. Our vision is to inspire lifelong learning, advance knowledge, and strengthen our communities. Let me show you some of our previous events of 2021. We had many such events, like for example on cybersecurity, cloud computing, stress management, data science and AI, preparing MBA entrance exams, and opportunities in business world. Also, yoga, a way of life, and our business model. This is a list. This is a list of the webinars conducted in 2021. We also have a future mega event, National Cricket League. Please everyone scan the QR code to join the team. The semi-final and final matches will be played at Mumbai on 23rd, 24th and 25th of December 2021. We also have our monthly bulletins, Imprint. These have very interesting articles and contents. Also, I am glad to announce that we have launched our August edition. I request everyone to check all the bulletins out. These are very interesting. Now, we also have our Learning Center, which is an initiative of DITF, wherein we all will organize mentorship programs, career counseling sessions, workshops, etc., which are conducted by the experts that you can see on your screen. And I also present our new initiatives, which is storytelling and instrumental performance. Please, everyone can contribute to this and also can share it with the people who can contribute on some of these. We give them a platform to raise their talent. You can watch these talents and upload this talent on YouTube. And I also present our new initiatives, which has a novel initiative of DITF. We have DITF Support Center, which is handled by our team, Dr. Subhashji Dadich, Dr. Gaurav Dadich, Sri Krishna Daima, Ms. Minakshi Dadich, and CA Rashmi Daima. And our second novel initiative, which is a help desk, which is arranged by Dr. Pramila Acharya ma'am. I request you all to contribute for blogs, articles, poems, and views, and other such talents you can raise us. You can write us at ditfindia@gmail.com. You all can reach and connect us on Instagram, Gmail, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We'll be glad to have you there. Also, join our upcoming webinar, which will be streamed live. You can also attend it on Zoom meeting, and also you can watch it on YouTube. It will be on 8th of August, 5 p.m. IST. Now, let me come to our today's topic, which is practicing sustainability in our daily life. Okay, so first of all, what is sustainable living? Yes, can I have some answers from the audience? Yes, if that is okay. Yes.
Living with suffice, with the minimum resources, it should suffice the purpose of a purpose. Like, I have this kind of resource and it is sufficing me my needs, basically, as far as I understand.
Okay, right. Okay. So basically, sustainable living is a practice of reducing your demand for natural resources to make sure that you replace what you use to the best of your ability. Sometimes that can mean not choosing to consume a product that is made using practices that don't promote sustainability. And sometimes it means changing how you do things so that you start becoming more of an active part. Okay. As one of the great speakers says, if it can't be reduced, reused, repaired, rebuilt, refurbished, refinished, resold, recycled, or composted, then it should be restricted, designed, or removed from production. This is a very interesting topic. Also, our speaker, Pranav Dadich, has something to say about this topic. He says, for me, sustainability is a way of life based on need rather than greed, such that we'll leave enough resources for our future generations to enjoy. These are very beautiful lines given by him. Now I request Ms. Vedika Dadich to take over.
Thank you, Dipesh. for such a warm introduction and handing me over. First of all, I would like to introduce our two panelists, that is Professor Deepak Sharma and Pranav Dadij. Professor Deepak Sharma is former Director, Students Welfare Professor of Renewable Energy Engineering, and he is presently an educator and professor at Maharana Pratap University of Agriculture and Technology, Udaipur. We also have Pranav Dadij, who is Senior Associate at C Kinetics. He has done his Masters in Innovation in Sustainable Energy Engineering from KTH Royal Institute of Technology, Sweden, and Aalto University, Finland. Now, without wasting time, I would like to continue with the webinar and actually introducing practicing sustainable living in our daily lives. When we hear like the word sustainable living, the first thing that comes in the mind, that is, what is sustainable living? Like, what are the aspects? What is sustainability? Professor Deepak, sir, would you like to enlighten us about it?
Sorry, there is some issue. Hello.
Okay.
आवाज आ रही है आपकी?
आ रही है सर?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. And I want to show the slide also, if it is visible. Presentation. Presentation is visible, sir?
No, you'll have to share your screen, sir.
Just a green button. Just a green button at the center of the screen. You can share screen. Just have to click.
Or you can, sir, mail the PPT to any of the co-host and they can share their screen.
Yeah. Sir, if you can do that. Or you can just post the PPT in the group that we have. We'll try and
just let me reconnect. I think it's some issue.
Sure.
टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है क्या?
Yes, there is some technical issue.
Now your screen is visible.
Your screen is visible, sir.
Screen is visible, okay. So,
yes, sir.
Thank you. So now I start. First of all, let me convey my warm greetings, heartfelt greetings and compliments to Sri Devesh sir for giving me this opportunity and for his exemplary services to the Dadij fraternity. I also welcome Mr. Deepesh Daima, who has given a very good beginning to this program. As an introducer, Ms. Devika Dadij, our expert Mr. Pranav Dadij, and also Mr. Harsh Daima, who will be proposing the vote of thanks, and all the participants to this webinar on the topic practicing sustainability in our daily life. So coming to the topic and the query raised about what is sustainability. So sustainability normally in Hindi we call as Satat Vikas or Sthayi Vikas, या कहें कि अनवरत विकास, that goes on continue for long time. So this concept of sustainability and its interpretation, it has a different meaning for different persons. Actually, it depends on the user who want to interpret it. So it is a function of user, and in a normal term, साधारण भाषा में अगर हम कहें तो which is able to be sustained or to keep in existence, to maintain and endure. So this is something which the definition you will find in the Webster's New Dictionary, New World Dictionary. But there are many definitions to this word sustainability or sustainable development. Important is, first of all, something has been told in the introduction part also, keeping something going on for an indefinite period of time. So that means that whatever the resources we have to look into or to manage these resources in such a way that they are available for indefinite period of time. Though there no doubt there would be shortage of it as the demand increases, but the availability should be ensured. It should not become an extinct part of the nature. It also refers to say conservation of living resources or management of the biosphere for human needs and use. So many resources are there. We have talked about natural resources, but even man-made resources also, they are also to be conserved, and they have to be managed so that they do not have adverse effect on our biosphere. Then living in harmony with nature, very important thing, that we should generate that much of pollutant or that much of waste only that is acceptable to the mother nature. So that is why we say that sustainable living means living in harmony with the nature. Again, we have another definition or another term which says that it means that living within the carrying capacity of the environment. So everything has a limit, and so is the environment also. हमारे पर्यावरण की भी एक कैपेसिटी है कि वो कितना पॉल्यूटेंट्स या कितना कुछ हमारे से हमको दे सकते हैं और कितना हमारे से वापस ले सकते हैं. So that has to be controlled. And finally, most important definition, if we want to say, we say that we must give back to the Mother Earth what we take from it. So whatever we receive from the Mother Earth, everything we receive from the Mother Earth for our living, for our livelihood, for our sustenance. So all these things, part of these things, they are recyclable and they should go back to the nature so that the balance of the nature is intact. So that is important. Then meet the needs of the future generation to meet their own needs. So we must utilize the resources in such a manner that we meet the needs of our generation, the present generation, without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs or their demand in the future. And finally, we say that we should realize that we have not inherited the earth from our parents. Rather, we have only borrowed it from our children, so that we give back the same thing to our next generations to come. So this is how these are some of the important points about the sustainability. And in this, I will give you some of the sustainable energy systems which we should utilize for our purpose. So sustainable development, as we can sum up, because development is also another word. Sustainable I have already covered, and development is also another word which says that we move a step or a stage in advancement or improvement. So sustainable development overall is a way of improving or advancing our culture in a way that can be maintained over a long haul. So apart from sustainable development, we all come across similar other terms also, like sustainable human population. Our biosphere also has to be sustainable society, sustainable community development. Many of these terms are there, even sustainable management strategies and sustainable energy systems. So in fact, we all as an individual and as a society are part and parcel of all these different spheres of this sustainability, either directly or indirectly. Thank you.
Sir, as you said that sustainability means living for sustaining things for a longer period of time. I would like to know what are the different kinds of energy systems. What do people actually use to have a sustainable life, live longer, and keep things recycling?
Okay, so for today's webinar, there are two aspects that have been chosen. One is the transport sector, electric vehicle, and this the slide shows that we have carbon dioxide emissions going to the environment because of electricity production, transportation. These are the major ones, and industry also contributes. Residential and commercial activities also contributes to the CO2 emissions and the non-fossil fuel combustion. So all these things have an impact on the environment, like your greenhouse gas emissions are increasing, more of methane and carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. It also contributes to the loss of nutrients in the soil, and deforestation is one of the very important activity which which gives an impact on the environment. So to have the reduced greenhouse gas emissions, we can have 10 key solutions for this. Out of these 10 key solutions, we are talking about mainly three solutions today. First of all, we should phase out the coal plants. So how do we phase out the coal plants? Unless we have some other alternate electricity generation resources or electricity generation technology, then only we can consume less of coal, and we can check the carbon dioxide emissions in the environment. Most important second one is invest in clean energy and efficiency. We should go for, rather than going for the conventional energy, we should now invest in the clean energy resources. And how do we improve the efficiency of the conventional energy devices? Then we should go for retrofitting the buildings so that less of energy is consumed with the same comfort that we desire in the building structures. We should go for decarbonization of the cement, steel, and plastic activities, and we should shift to electric vehicles, which is also a very important aspect of today's webinar as well, and the future for the transport sector. Increase the public transport and reduce the individual transportation activities. Decarbonization of the aviation and the shipping industry. Then stop the deforestation anyhow, and we should restore the degraded land so that it could be regenerated and could be used either for afforestation or for agriculture purpose. One should reduce the food loss and waste, and whatever waste is there, it should be properly recycled. And then finally, you should go for more plantation and vegetarian living style. So these are some of the activities which can promote which can naturally up to 80% reduction in the greenhouse gas emissions can be achieved if we go for these activities. So finally, I am also a member of this Rotary International, and under our community service projects, we have been doing many activities which are necessary for the, you can say, the environmental restoration. And one very good poster that I have seen that says that do not let Mother Nature become once upon a time. Save the environment. So this is the right time that we look on these activities which promote the clean energy sources, so that the future will be either green or not at all. If we want that our future should remain and our living should be sustainable, then we should go for such activities that promotes green future, or there would be no future on this universe in the time being. We should also go for start changing our habits and make them environment friendly. A very important thing which is very difficult to change our habits in such a manner that we utilize only the clean energy sources mostly, and we see that we do not contribute to the environmental emissions. So tree plantation is also one of the important aspects, and this is one of the very new thing that the toothbrush which comes with replaceable bristles, so that you do not have to buy a new handle. So this is all how do we avoid the non-recyclable material into the environment. So looking to all these aspects, we have now some of the answers to the sustainability, adopting cleaner production technologies, because as I told you that the industries are consuming more of the fossil fuels and coal and oil and all those things which do pollute the environment. Working for green cities, we now have the agenda for municipal solid waste collection and recycling of the solid waste, and making the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan successful for the green cities. Promoting some of the individual actions as we have already will be talking about, and we have talked about adopting conservation codes and then the green purchasing. So if we adopt all these things necessarily, and surely we will be having the answers to the sustainability which we are talking about. Yeah, thank you.
Sir, as you said, we should use clean energy sources. What do you mean by clean energy sources? Could you throw some light on it?
The clean energy sources, or as the slide says, that we call them as the renewable energy sources. Now there is a debate on whether some of the conventional energy sources like fuel wood, whether this is also a renewable energy source or not. So for the environment to be sustainable, the solution is two-way. Either we should go for energy conservation, or we should replace our conventional energy sources gradually, slowly, by means of few of the renewable energy resources which are available to us. And to the universe, I must say that we are lucky enough that we are blessed with plenty of renewable energy resources in different forms, which are not going to be exhausted. जैसा इसका नाम कहा गया है, नवीकरणीय ऊर्जा, या in other terms we call it as the अक्षय ऊर्जा साधन, अक्षय ऊर्जा, which are not going to be depleted. So the pace of utilization and the consumption, there should not be much difference in the consumption, utilization, and the reproduction. If the time lapse between these activities, the use of the energy source and the regeneration of the energy source, if it is within a short period of time, we say that this is the renewable energy source. And that's why we normally do not consider fuel wood as a renewable energy source, because उसको वापस regenerate होने में जो समय लगता है, उसको काम में लेने में जो समय लगता है, उससे बहुत अधिक होता है. कई वर्षों बाद हमारे को वापस फ्यूल वुड प्राप्त हो सकता है, जबकि हम जितना अभी उपलब्ध है उसको अगर यूटिलाइज करना चाहें तो उसको बहुत कम समय में उसको खत्म कर सकते हैं. So that way renewable energy resources are defined which can be naturally regenerated through the natural currents that are available within the environment within a very short period of time. And we can say that whatever time period it takes to regenerate, the same time period we take to utilize those renewable energy sources. So there are a number of renewable energy sources which are available with us. And before going to those resources, let us talk about some of the individual actions that we should go for different activities. Like water heating is our daily activity, and we can consume the energy, or we can save the energy, the additional energy, by way of putting on the thermostat on the water heaters to about 50 degrees centigrade, by utilizing the water efficient shower heads, faucet aerators, insulated water heater blankets, and by doing full loads of laundry and using the cooler water into those systems. For space heating also, there are many options to reduce the energy consumption and to increase the energy efficiency of the system that we utilize for the space heating, like again setting of the thermostat at a lower temperature during the night, insulate the ceilings and the walls so that there are minimum losses of the energy to the environment, install storm windows, curtains or window quilts, and to utilize the fans to distribute the heat. For cooling and air conditioning also, which consumes a huge amount of energy, conventional energy mostly, we could again increase the thermostat setting at the night, dehumidify the air, close the drapes during the day so that there are no circulation of the heat, and can utilize the fans. Similarly, for cooking, we always advise that we should use the cover pots and cook one-pot meals, and use energy efficient appliances as are available. In India, we say that we should go for BIS or ISI standard appliances, then replace the conventional fuels with the renewables. So here we have enough scope of replacing the conventional fuel with the renewables with the ease nowadays. Lighting also, we can adopt the renewable energy lighting options or use the less wattage consuming LEDs, or use the natural lighting wherever possible. And for transportation also, we can go for carpool or walk or ride a bus for the smaller distances, group power trips, keep our cars tuned and tire pressure properly, energy efficient cars and hybrid or electric vehicles utilization. Then speed limit is to be maintained and public conveyance for longer trips. So see, these are some of the energy efficient options. So naturally, renewables is an alternative, and we can say that in near future, there would be a time when almost 70 to 80% of our energy consumption will be based on some or the other means of the renewable, maybe a hybrid way, or a mix of different renewable energy sources, or a single one. So that way, it has to be taken up in the spirit that the energy, because for the energy, I should say that from 1980 onwards, जब हम अभी 1980 से जितनी ऊर्जा की खपत होती थी, उससे अभी की चर्चा करें तो लगभग 50% ऊर्जा की आवश्यकता बढ़ गई है. We have increased the utilization of energy by 50% during the last about 40 years or so, and it would be increased by almost about 70% to the level of 1980 by the end of 2030, and almost it would be doubled by the end of 2050, where the population of the entire world will be almost increased by about 46% or so. So where from the energy we will get? इस ऊर्जा की आवश्यकता, सीमित ऊर्जा जो हमारे पास उपलब्ध है, तो इस बढ़ती हुई ऊर्जा की आवश्यकता कैसे पूरी होगी? This is a big question amongst us, because our country, if we talk about India, this is the fourth largest country having the largest energy consumption, with very low population, 6% of the population from this. So दुनिया का चौथा सबसे अधिक ऊर्जा खपत करने वाला देश हमारा है, और we have almost about 10 to 35% from different sectors. The energy conservation or energy efficiency improvement potential is almost about from 10 to 35% in different industries. If we talk about different, normally we talk in 4 different sectors where the energy consumption is there. One is our domestic sector, then our agriculture sector, transport sector, and the industrial sector. So these are the four major sectors where we have the energy consumption, and we should see that the energy conservation in all these four sectors can be conservation can be achieved and efficiency can be improved. Thank you. Yeah, Vedika.
Nicely explained, sir. While I was researching about renewable energy for this webinar, I happened to know about SWOT analysis. Would you like to tell us what is SWOT analysis of renewable energy?
Yes, SWOT analysis actually stands for strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So I have told you that we are fortunate enough to have huge amount of renewable energy potential, and the entire world, and particularly in the tropical country like India, there is a huge potential of utilization of renewables. So this is our strength. Then some of the weaknesses, if we talk about, the weakness lies in the technological development and also the cost factor. So the cost factor now we have come across, and the cost is brought down tremendously. If I talk about renewables, let me give the example of the cost of power production through the solar photovoltaic. In 19 or is it in 2009, the cost of power production through this solar photovoltaic system was somewhere around $360 per kilowatt, which has now reduced to almost about $40 or so. So there has been a decline of almost about 70% or 90% of the cost reduction has been achieved because of many factors. Production also, the production has also gone up, and the technology has also been improved in the production sector. So likewise, in all the renewable energy sector, the weaknesses slowly and gradually, we are addressing the weaknesses to become the strength. Opportunities are already there because the population is increasing, the per capita energy consumption is increasing due to the increased, you can say, the standard of living of the population. And that's why the opportunity is there that we have to meet the growing demand of energy in different sectors of our population. And then there would be a wide gap if we do not go for renewable systems, renewable energy production. And threats also, some of the threats are there. Threats in the sense that somebody says that अगर हमारा ये solar photovoltaic system या batteries वगैरह या e-vehicles की जो batteries हैं, ये जब काम नहीं आएंगी तब इनका disposal की कैसे क्या problem, environmentally disposal कैसे होगा. So numerous strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are addressed simultaneously to see that the renewables become a success in place of the conventional energy sources. Thanks.
सर आपकी बातचीत से जो समझ में आया है वो ये है कि रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी में काफ़ी पोटेंशियल है, बट एज इंडिविजुअल्स हमको ऐसा क्या करना चाहिए लाइफ में कि हम ज़ीरो वेस्ट लाइफ जिएं और प्रोबेबली एक सस्टेनेबल लिविंग की तरफ आगे बढ़ें. मतलब इस क्योंकि रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी काफ़ी पोटेंशियल होल्ड करती है, तो हम रियल चेंज कैसे ला सकते हैं?
See, this I already covered that we have enough potential of renewable energies in our day-to-day life, and we can generate enough energy. And renewable energy sector is presently contributing almost about 15% in the national electricity installed capacity. There is a national solar mission also, which is known as Jawaharlal Nehru Solar Mission, under which there is a target of producing about 175 megawatts of electricity through the renewables, out of which 100 megawatt will be coming from solar energy itself, 60 megawatt from wind energy, and rest 15 megawatt from other renewable energy resources. And this has to be achieved by the end of 2022. So this is a very massive mission which has been taken up by the government of India to promote the renewable energy. Now, if I talk about some of the key renewable energy resources which we can utilize and which we can say as a contributor to the zero waste life, because all these resources इनसे कोई भी waste generate नहीं. जब भी हम इन resources को utilize करते हैं तो इनसे किसी प्रकार का ना कोई solid waste generate होता है, ना कोई liquid waste generate होगा और ना कोई gaseous waste generate होगा. तो उस तरह से जैसा सबसे पहले हमारे दीपेश जी ने बताया था कि और प्रणव जी ने बहुत अच्छा जो कंसेप्ट दिया था वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट का, उसमें हम भी 4 R's का जिक्र करते हैं हमेशा. We should refuse, or even we should say, I should say 5 R's are there. One is refuse, or we should rethink whether we should use anything which is generating the waste. पहले काम में लेने से पहले सोचना है कि क्या इसको काम में लिए बिना हमारा काम हो सकता है या इसके लिए कोई अल्टरनेट हम तलाश सकते हैं. So we should refuse taking use of these type of materials which generate the waste in our life. Then we should reduce the waste. If anyhow we have to take use of it, then we should take it in the very limited quantity, so that the waste generated is, the quantum of waste generated is reduced. कम से कम waste generate होगा. जो भी waste generate हो रहा है, if it is reusable, we should reuse it for our next day or for any other day. If the same thing can be reused, we will naturally be reducing the use, or we will naturally be taking care of new waste to be generated. Then we should go for recycling, because most of these waste material which we are using in our conditions are recyclable. They are organic in nature. About 80% of the waste are organic in nature, and we can always recycle these waste material. So we could go for the recycle of this waste. And lastly, we say that it should be either we call it as the rot or residual management. So that is also a part of the recycling, but with a particular technology to be adopted. जैसे आजकल जो सारा म्युनिसिपल सॉलिड वेस्ट जो कलेक्ट हो रहा है, या हमारा जो सीवरेज जितना वेस्ट जा रहा है, या इंडस्ट्रीज से जितना भी वेस्ट निकल रहा है, ये सारा जो वेस्ट जा रहा है ये ऐसे ही डंप नहीं हो रहा है. These are being recycled or these are being converted into compost. So मैंने जैसे शुरू में बताया था कि we should give back to the nature what we take from the nature. So when we convert it into organic compost and we put it into the soil, our soil fertility is maintained and our productivity is increased. So that is how we have to go for residual management, whatever the residues are available with us. So this is how zero waste life can be, because what is important is to remember that nature does not have a reset button. We have a reset button in our these computers and all those things. In our life, we cannot reset whatever has gone. Similarly, the nature does not have a reset button. And if we go on utilizing the resources as we have been doing in the past, then it is estimated that we will require one more universe or one more planet like our Mother Earth, like Earth with ample resources to meet or to feed the need of the growing population or the future generation. बिना उसके ये पॉसिबल नहीं है. जितना हमारी पृथ्वी के पास जो संसाधन है, उन संसाधनों का अगर इसी तरह से असीमित दोहन हम करते रहे, तो हमारी आने वाली जनसंख्या, जो मैंने आपको बताया कि 2050 में जो कंडीशन होगी, उस समय तक आपको एक और अर्थ के बराबर के रिसोर्सेज की आवश्यकता होगी, और वो कहाँ से आएगा, दैट इज द क्वेश्चन. सो देयर आर renewable energy resources, solar, wind, biofuels, hydropower. These are some of the resources which we can utilize for making our life zero waste life, for waste management system. Yeah. You are muted, Vedika. Please unmute yourself. So, should I continue?
Yes,
So,
better.
yeah. So there we have this direct method and indirect method of solar energy utilization. सूर्य जो है वो हमारे लिए सभी ऊर्जा के जितने भी जो भी साधन हैं उन सब के लिए we could say that this is the father of our all energy resources. So that's why indirect method it gets converted into wind energy or biomass energy or geothermal energy or ocean thermal energy. These are some of the energy sources which we get because of the sun. And directly we can also utilize the sun by two methods. One we call as the thermal method, direct utilization of the heat that the heat is generated from the solar rays. And then second method is the solar photovoltaic system, where we convert the solar radiations into the electricity. So that electricity we can use for water pumping directly, or for lighting, or for industries, or for any purpose where we have been using the conventional electricity. And for thermal use, we can go for cooking, water heating, space heating, drying of agriculture or other products, industries, etc. Everywhere we can find use of either thermal or the solar photovoltaic methods of solar utilization. At different temperatures, we can go for this utilization, low grade, medium grade, high grade, and different applications can be there. And this is somewhat about the solar power that is converted from the photovoltaic system, where we have the solar panels which are made up of the solar cells. Photovoltaic cells are there, or we also call as the silicon panels, which converts the solar radiation into electricity, and that electricity can either be conserved into the battery or it can be directly utilized through the inverter into the AC. These are some of the different utilization of the solar photovoltaic systems. So water pumping also, we can directly use it in the daytime. So there is no need for the agriculture farmers to remain active during the night when the electricity is there, because normally the electricity in the agriculture field is not available during the daytime. So they can utilize the electricity from the solar street lights. These are some of the portable solar lanterns, solar home lighting system, which also have the mobile charger and FM radio, and all those things can be run with the help of these. The solar thermal also, we can generate the solar power utilizing large surface area, land area, where the solar radiations falls and then they are utilized in the form of heat energy. Then these are some of the solar thermal technologies also, where we can use these for the cooking purposes. So a box time solar cooker you must have seen, and these are very popular in the urban areas where there is working ladies who are going to the office. They just put the solar cooker oriented towards the sun while departing for the office, and when they come to at the time of lunch, they get everything prepared in the cooker. Many advantages are there. It doesn't consume any type of conventional energy for cooking or for heating or roasting, anything else. And concentrated cookers are also available nowadays in the market, which can use our normal conventional pressure cookers also. So these are some of the types of dryers also. Family size, large size dryers can also be utilized for agriculture purpose. Industries also, we have provided many type of dryers for large scale applications. Then improved biomass cook stoves are also there, where the efficiency, as I was talking about, the increased efficiency. So the normal efficiency of the conventional cook stoves which the rural women use is less than 10%, but here the efficiency goes above 30-35% with proper and this is a very good commercial activity. Market is there, and there are a lot of different type of manufacturers. These are some of the different designs of the improved cook stoves, which do not emit smoke while this firewood or fuel wood is consumed inside them. So these are also again improved cook stoves of the fixed type. Those were these were the portable types, but these are the fixed type of with single pot or double pot, which are very much acceptable in the rural areas and other areas, dhabas, etc. Then we can also go for greenhouse, net house, or tunnels as the protected cultivation technologies. These are some of the slides for these, where you must have seen in the fields the poly house or the greenhouse or net shades, where the off-site off-season cultivation is possible, and other advantages are also there. There is no requirement of pesticide use, no insect and disease control is required, because it is all under the controlled environmental conditions. So these are some of the activities which can be carried out even for nursery raising also in the controlled environment inside. So most important is the off-season cultivation, where commercial activities can be carried on. Then we have the biomass resources also. So lot of biomass is available in our ecosystem, and we can also go for generation of the biofuels from these biomass, and government is already supplying the ethanol mixed petrol and diesel into the pumps through 10% mixing is there, blending of 10% is there. Then these are some of the photographs about the biogas systems which are there in the field. All type of waste material, organic waste, whether it is cattle dung or it is kitchen waste or it is any industrial waste from the distillery or from the cotton industry or from any type of other industry which is generating the organic waste, we can always utilize these. These are for the smaller capacity household. These plants are there where you can generate biogas, which is a mixture of methane and carbon dioxide, and you can always from one small unit of this biogas plant, we can save 2 cylinders of LPG per month with the use of these waste materials. So we can go for this is the type of burners that are used for consuming the biogas. All blue flame is there. It can also be used for lighting purpose. Indoor Petromex biogas lamps are also available in the market, and we can use it for agriculture purpose. So a wide use, 3 times use is there. One, you are utilizing it for cooking. The same thing, same gas is being utilized for lighting, and the same product is again available as the high quality organic compost, because nowadays the organic food concept is increasing day by day. So that organic food is coming from the organic manure, and that organic manure is coming from these biogas systems. Maybe small unit or larger unit, as I have told you, that all the municipal solid waste that is recyclable goes into large size biogas plants, and then they generate the organic manure. So this is large scale biogas generation system, where we can generate the biogas, we can verify the biogas. Verify means we can remove the carbon dioxide, which is of no use, and then we can fill it, pressurize it into the bottles. So this has now become an alternate for CNG for vehicle. So the government has approved utilization of the CBG, compressed biogas, for vehicular application. There has been a gazette notification by the government, and very soon this CBG will be available through the petrol pumps. This is the waste that is being recycled at the Amul plant. So all these systems can be utilized through the renewable. And I've told you that we are having a target of generating almost about 175 gigawatt of electricity from the solar energy in near future. So this has been the achievement. Yes, now it is open for, I think we should go for the interaction part or any suggestion?
Sir, thank you so much for such a nice presentation. I think electric vehicles and actually transportation is very important part of sustainable living. So I would like to like to hand over to Pranav for enlightening us on electric vehicles.
Thank you, Vedika, for the introduction. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Devesh sir for bringing us all together, Vedika and Dipesh for the introductions, and Professor Sharma for a wonderful and very detailed presentation on what is the current status of renewable energy in India and how great our country is doing in this space and what all we can do to contribute to that to this segment. Um, uh, I would like to take a very small part of the entire conversation, not entirely very small, but all of us uh, do use transportation in one form or the another, and it is becoming a very important part of our life. And there's a very interesting phenomena happening in India currently. Our country is now trying to focus more and more on electrifying the segment. And this is what I'll be talking about in my presentation. It's a small 15, 20, 20, 20, 25 minute presentation, and I'll be taking all of the questions at the end. Um, just starting off with basic questions that people might have, right? Is an EV right for me? What exactly is an electric vehicle? Are they affordable? Will it go enough kilometers after charging? Kitna deti hai? Like every other ad we have seen for cars and scooters that we buy, right? These are essential questions when it comes to buying a vehicle, and um, definitely this should be answered before we jump into it. And I am here to just clarify a few things and some things that might be sort of a myth right now, a misconception. And hopefully this presentation will help you decide further on what an electric vehicle is, how can you use it, which segments are making sense right now, which segments might make sense 2 to 3 years down the line, and maybe you can plan your vehicle shopping accordingly. So starting off with what is an EV? EV stands for electric vehicle. This purely runs on electricity right now. So basically what happens is you have a battery inside the vehicle that is charged from an electric source. The electricity can be accessed through a plug kind of a system. नॉर्मल हमारे घर के प्लग भी यूज कर सकते हैं, अलग से एक चार्जिंग स्टेशन बन सकता है सोसाइटी के अंदर. देयर कैन बी अ चार्जिंग स्टेशन दैट इज इन public, right, which governments puts up. So different ways of charging your battery, and that battery essentially powers your motor, which is electric motor in this case. So uh, on the right hand side you can see how minimal the moving parts are in the vehicle, both in electric two-wheeler and electric four-wheeler. Currently जो हमारा नॉर्मल पेट्रोल और डीजल की जो गाड़ी है उसको इंटरनल कंबशन इंजन बोलते हैं, आइस व्हीकल बोलते हैं उनको. एंड उसके अंदर देर आर somewhere around 2000 moving parts. It's a very complex machinery. It has many moving parts, and hence every now and then, every 6 months, every 3 months, you require a maintenance. Servicing के लिए गाड़ियाँ सबकी जाती होगी, and the servicing cost keeps on increasing as and when your vehicle gets old. So this is a consistent problem with the petrol and diesel vehicle, but this problem completely eliminates when it comes to electric vehicle because it only has 20 parts, and there is minimal chances of having any maintenance. Honestly, the only maintenance that I can think of is the tires getting changed. That is normal for a petrol vehicle. इसका बैटरी रिप्लेस होता है every depending on the usage, but the minimal the time is somewhere around 6 to 8 years into the vehicle. Then it is और जो छोटे मोटे पार्ट्स है वो रिप्लेस होते हैं इसके अंदर, जैसे वाइपर हो गया, थोड़े शॉकर्स का जो नॉर्मल पेट्रोल व्हीकल के अंदर भी हमारे प्रॉब्लम्स आते हैं. इसके अंदर another good thing about this is, since it is a very silent and vibration-less driving, a lot of parts in our normal vehicle, a petrol vehicle, gets bad due to those vibrations, right? And in electric vehicles, this is not the case. This helps extend the life of the vehicle as we go on. So, as a country, and personally, how can we potentially gain from these vehicles? The first and foremost thing that comes into my mind is the energy security aspect to it. Right now, everybody must be familiar with this. We export majority of our oil products, right? And we are dependent on Middle Eastern countries for our petrol and diesel needs. And everybody is familiar. अभी आजकल 100 रुपए के ऊपर चला गया petrol, diesel will soon reach there. So our dependency on these products will only increase going forward, not decrease. So this is a huge issue for a country like India when it comes to energy security. हम लोग का कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है इस चीज पे, and we will always be dependent on other countries to fulfill such a huge need for our country. It's not only for our daily transportation but also for other kind of transportations like freight. हमारा जो सामान इधर से उधर आता है, Amazon से अगर आप मंगवा रहे हैं, बैंगलोर से दिल्ली भी आ रहा है, तो वो ट्रक से आ रहा है, प्लेन से आ रहा है, या फिर ट्रेन से आ रहा है, तो उसका भी फ्यूल कहीं से तो आएगा, वो बाहर से ही आ रहा है अभी सब कुछ. Then another very important issue that is going on is the air quality aspect. People living in Delhi will agree with we have a very bad air quality currently, and I think almost every other city right now, metro city in India, is suffering from something similar. We don't realize it, but our air quality is above 50. Like it is above 50 constantly throughout the year. It gets bad and worse according to different seasons, and this is another issue that is increasing in India. And one of the primary causes of this is transportation in our cities, and then comes different other reasons. But if we solve for this issue, we can solve for the air quality problem in a city. So this is a very huge step towards improving public health in our city. Then secondly, with this vehicle, with electric vehicle, there is a possibility of charging it with renewable energy. One common argument that keeps coming is जो हमारी electricity बन रही है वो तो coal से ही बन रही है, तो ये कैसे clean हुआ? So, but over here the answer comes is there is possibility to charge with renewable, and it will only increase going ahead. Abhi currently our grid is 38% powered by renewable energy, which is third largest in the world, and this percent will only increase going forward, as Professor Sharma just showcased us that India has a huge renewable energy target and renewable energy mission. तो एक तो इसके अंदर टेल पाइप एमिशन, मतलब जो हमारे गाड़ी से एमिशन जो निकल रहे हैं, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड निकल रहा है, वो तो ऑलरेडी इसके अंदर नहीं होता. जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बनाने के लिए जो एमिशन निकलता है वो भी खत्म हो जाएगा, कम होता जाएगा over the year. So potential to reduce this is also very high, and that is where the GHGs, greenhouse gases, which is carbon dioxide, methane, जो कि global warming का cause है. And India ने, even though India को कोई जरूरत नहीं थी ये करने के लिए, but India has committed a very huge target of GHG mitigation by 2032, and has become a model country across the world when it comes to such proclamations and declarations. And just to achieve that 30% mitigation, we will have to reduce our carbon emissions from different sectors, and transportation sector is going to be one of the largest places where you will see this reduction. And that is why the Indian government is very hell-bent on reducing these emissions from transportation. And you'll see a lot of focus and a lot of news articles that are coming up right now in the national media. A lot of people who follow automotive sector, they know that Tesla has come to India. The first vehicle has already arrived. They are in talks with the government on how to go ahead, and you might see Tesla vehicles, which I think is a huge thing for a country like India. It's a matter of pride that companies which are present in select geographies around the world, India will be one of them. Tata Motors has planned to commit more to the electric vehicles, and you'll see more vehicles that will be on road. वो 10 नए मॉडल निकालने वाला है अगले 3-4 सालों के अंदर. ओला इलेक्ट्रिक का जो स्कूटर था, अभी it opened up for bookings, and it got 1 lakh bookings in 24 hours. You could have booked, and I think you can still book for 500 rupees. You can book the vehicle, and it has already gotten 1 lakh bookings in less than 24 hours. So demand is there. People are looking forward to this. There is public-private partnerships coming up in charging stations, and you see a lot of people putting up this public charging stations, ताकि ये वाला जो issue हमारा जो range anxiety और कि charging मिलेगी नहीं मिलेगी, वो वाला issue है, वो भी धीरे-धीरे करके कम होएगा. Government, in order to make sure that battery भी हमारे यहाँ पे बने, it has provided a production linked incentive scheme for these manufacturers कि आप हमारे कंट्री के अंदर ही बैटरीज बनाना भी शुरू करो. अभी हम इंपोर्ट करके उसको असेंबल करते हैं, लेकिन आर idea is to over a period of time to become a manufacturer of these batteries, and then there is a scheme that government has come up with called FAME, faster adoption of manufacturing of electric vehicles, which is the sole driver of this electric mobility, what you can say, revolution in India. So basically what it does is it gives out subsidy on these vehicles, so that these vehicles upfront cost comes down. So there are two components to these to the cost of a vehicle. One is when you go and buy it, that is upfront cost. आप जो जाते हो उधर जो price है उस vehicle का, वो cost. And one is operating cost, कि आप जब चला रहे हो गाड़ी, उसमें कितना खर्चा हो रहा है. Operating cost में the electric vehicles are already very cheap than the petrol and diesel vehicles, but it's the upfront cost which is the problem. That's why the government came up with these FAME subsidies to provide initiatives to create demand in our country. Just a quick snapshot of what the electric two-wheeler market looks like, right? Is it visible to everyone, or I'll zoom in?
You can put it in the presentation mode. I think it will be better.
Okay, just a second. I'm not able to put it.
No worries, you can zoom.
All right.
I think you should zoom.
All right. How many doors in the presentation? Just let me check it again. Can you see it now?
Yeah, better.
So there are a lot of electric two-wheeler companies that have come up, and right now, earlier the subsidy was a bit less when it came to the central subsidy was a bit less, but abhi the central subsidy has gone up to 15,000, 30,000 rupees also from the center itself. And on top of it, a lot of state governments have started giving out subsidies too. So the vehicle that you're seeing right now, the Ather 450 Plus, for example, this is after subsidy from Delhi government, it becomes somewhere around 1,10,000, and the range is quite good. It's 100 kilometers in one charge, so you don't have to worry about this as well. And you have a lot of vehicles that are in the 45 to 85,000 rupees price range, and there are some a bit expensive ones, but the prices have fallen down because of the central and state government subsidies that are in this space. There's another concept called total cost of ownership, which is basically taking into account the upfront cost जो मैं mention कर रहा था and the operating cost over the years. So जैसे आप देख सकते हैं ग्राफ के अंदर, without subsidy break even was coming in 10th year, मतलब 10वें साल near the 10th year, 10वें साल तक पहले break even आ रहा था उस vehicle का after taking into account the operating cost. So that's why it did not used to make sense for people to go and buy these vehicles. But after the increase in the subsidy and increase in central and state subsidy, the break even is coming in the 4th year itself. उसके बाद जितना भी है जो भी है वो savings है आपका. So that is how you're saving a lot in these vehicles, and we are much aware that petrol prices are increasing and they'll only increase in the coming future. So that is another factor that will drive people away from those vehicles and move towards these electric vehicles. When it comes to electric four-wheelers, a lot of companies are still focusing on releasing their vehicles. There are not a lot of players right now. Tata is one of them. It has a Tigor EV and an Nexon EV. The ranges are perfectly fine. It's more than 300 kilometers. The battery packs are totally fine. But the upfront cost is the issue right now. It's very high for a common man to afford. But in the next 2 to 3 years, a lot of vehicles will come in this space, which will be less than 10 lakhs. And once that establishes, it will be much easier for people to go and transition towards these vehicles. Just a quick snapshot that if you use a petrol vehicle, your cost per kilometer is somewhere around 4.5 rupees per kilometer, and your daily average travel cost comes around 400 rupees, which adds up to somewhere around 1.5 lakhs in a year. But the same distance when covered from an electric four-wheeler will be 33,000. So this is the difference that I was talking about when it comes to operating an electric vehicle. और जैसे जैसे subsidies वगैरह introduce होगी in space के अंदर, you will find much easier to buy these vehicles in the coming days. Abhi on the electric four-wheeler end, it's more of a what you can say an experimental phase. It's at a nascent stage. But if somebody is thinking of buying a car in the next 2 to 3 years, they should definitely consider an electric vehicle, because that is when it will start making more sense, and both from an upfront cost and an operating cost perspective. Just some few myths that are associated with electric vehicles, right? The first one is charge करने में कितना time लगेगा, कहाँ charge करे, क्यों charge करे. But this argument does not take into consideration what are the fueling patterns of the electric vehicle. If, for example, I, who normally travels to office and back home, my travel distance is 80 kilometers in a day, and the electric four-wheeler can easily take 300 kilometers in a single charge. So I don't need to charge it every day. I can go for at least 4 days before I need to think of charging the vehicle, and overnight you can charge it and it will again go to 300 kilometers charge. So this is one point, that you can charge it at home overnight and it won't be a problem. And as in when we are going towards public charging stations, the government is going to put up a lot of these in metro cities first. It has identified a few geographies in India, and they will install public charging stations where when you are waiting for something, for example, you've gone out to eat. Right now I can go to Khan Market in Delhi, and if I have an EV, I can plug it into the charging station, and I can have my food. And when I come back, my electric vehicle would be charged in an hour or two. And also on the charging end, you don't require any tech savvy thing. In some cases, the manufacturer itself will install a charging station for you, or you could directly plug it into the normal 15 ampere plug at your home. So that is also how you can charge your vehicle very easily. So it's very straightforward. It does not require a lot of technology to be understood. Normally, as you use different appliances, this is how you will use to charge your EV as well. The uneconomical part I have already covered. That right now it is conceived as a luxury item, but at least in the electric two-wheeler segment, you can see that it has come at par with the normal scooters and scooties and motorcycles that you see, with equal range and much less operating cost. And apart from subsidies, you also get road registration tax waived off in some cities according to the policies of that state. You have some in some places you might not require to pay for parking. So these are other incentives that you get for owning a EV. And on the battery end, I know they are expensive now, but the prices have falling very fast. 10 years ago, the lithium-ion batteries were much costlier, and now it was around $1,000 per kilowatt hour, and right now it's $100 per kilowatt hour. 125, sorry, $135, and in the next 5 years it will fall below $100 per kilowatt hour. So the prices are falling every day, and even the companies are giving warranties and all to replace within 3 to 5 years if something has some problem comes up. So this is the one major cost that will come every 8 years, but I think it is justified considering its low operating cost. For long distance travel, this is another question that comes. Right now, every four-wheeler, as you saw, had more than 300 kilometers of range, which is a typical journey from Delhi to Jaipur, for example, Mumbai to Pune. So it can afford a single charge travel from Delhi to Jaipur, and without you considering to charge in between or wait somewhere. So all of that issue is not there technically. But yes, if you have a travel of more than 350 kilometers, you might face problems currently. But over the years, we are getting to we are going to get electrified highways. Indian government is working with the Road and Transportation Highway Ministry to put up charging stations along major highways right now. So Delhi Jaipur would be one of that, and Delhi Agra. These are two pilot highways right now where this initiative is going to take place. And once it's successful, they will replicate it across India. And fifth consideration that comes is EVs have low speed, which is totally untrue, because you literally have electric car racing tournaments across the world. So, for example, MG की जो EV है, it can cover 0 to 100 in less than 8.5 seconds. So this is why they definitely don't have low speed. Yes, there are categories which are low speed electric vehicles, electric two-wheelers, but that is for different reasons, because they don't have to pay taxes. You don't have to take a license for those vehicles. It's like a normal scooty that you have. So the category is different, but the EVs are available in all kind of speed categories, and you can choose as and when you like. So this was all about electric vehicles in India. Thank you for the opportunity for letting me talk. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn or the email ID that I have provided. I'll take a few questions that have come up. Okay. I think this is a question for you, Professor Sharma, that in Europe there is a policy for RRR usage. Is there any policy being formed in India by the government?
Yeah, it is already there from the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, and we call it as WRRS.
Hmm.
So that is waste resource recovery and recycling system.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there was another question, Professor Sharma, and I can take it if you want. Without proper storage conservation options, how can we store energy for renewable energy systems?
Yeah. For if we talk about the electrical energy that is produced from the solar system, earlier we used to store in the batteries, but now the energy policy has approved the grid connectivity. Whatever the energy we are producing, it goes directly into the grid through the net meter, and only the difference of the energy that we have consumed and we have produced, that has to be paid for. So there is already a policy of that kind where you do not have to go for any storage. And anyway, if you want to go for storage now, as you have already told that the battery storage, improved battery storage has already come up in the market with long life batteries. So in case you want to use it for any captive application, we can go for battery storage. Otherwise, we can feed it into the grid and the government will pay for that, whatever we have fed.
Yes, definitely, sir. This is so. For example, in a solar rooftop system, Arunji, I think this is a possibility that you can put up a solar system at your home, and the amount of electricity that you don't consume, you can sell it to the grid, which is called net metering in essence. And the government will pay, the DISCOM will pay for you, pay to you for that electricity. And apart from that, a lot of battery backup systems are coming in India. In fact, near my place in Delhi, we have India's first grid level storage system. Around 1 megawatt hour of battery system is present over here, and this is something that will be replicated across India as and when the renewable energy penetration increases. And I think that's what Professor Sharma was also trying to convey. Arunji, you also asked, I have heard that there is a possibility of backup battery you can carry. Can we do that in India soon? Is that for electric vehicles or for renewable energy systems? What I did not understand the question. Sorry.
That may be required for e-vehicle.
I
travel long.
I think Pranav, the thing is, the person wants to ask, like, for example, if I'm traveling somewhere and the charging station is really long, can I ask, can I have for example, we have a power bank, right? So do we have anything along those lines that we can, carry along and can charge?
So these
kind of a reserve system, basically.
Understood. So these batteries are very heavy in nature. So I don't think there could be a backup battery solution that you can carry along with your EV. But yes, there are systems that are coming up, which is called battery swapping. So आप किसी जैसे petrol pump पे ही a lot. So government has released that around 70,000 petrol pumps will have battery swapping stations. You can go to that that petrol pump. That robotic arm will take out your battery and put up a new battery. So it will take less than 2 minutes to change your battery, and you don't have to worry about the charging and the charge in that. So that is a system that is going to come up rapidly in India. But I don't think there is a possibility of carrying a backup battery system in an electric vehicle because they are a bit heavy, on the heavier end.
Yeah, Pranav, I would like to add whatever you said. This is Dilip Daima from Pune, and we make electric vehicles at Tata Motors, and I do have some activity for EV. One thing is there is a backup. It cannot be called as a backup battery, but there is a small auxiliary battery in the electric vehicle which is supplied by the manufacturer. For example, if you take Tico or a Nexon, there is an auxiliary battery unit which can be plugged and have a fast battery recharging capacity.
Oh, I see.
And a big battery which is under the floor already its life is around 4 to 5 years. And second part of it is in two-wheeler sector there are already some of the dealer network ship. There is a replacement of batteries gone on. What you have to do, if the battery is discharged, you have to just give the discharge battery and replace with the charge. So that system is already on. And third point is already along with the government, ARI and government, Tata Group means Tata Power, Tata Chemicals and Tata Motors have started installation of battery charging stations on big highways. Like if you go to Pune Bombay Express Highway, there are a couple of battery stations in progress in charging, as well as on Jaipur Delhi Highway there is some installation going on. So there are some selected points where manufacturers along with the government in PP relationship, they are putting up the charging stations along with the petrol pumps. So that is going to help in future, because the EV vehicle production in future is going to be a better one, and there is going to be a demand. I hope this clarifies the.
Yes, sir. Definitely, it really helps in understanding more what Tata is doing in this space. And I agree with you. Tata Chemicals also is working really hard to bring battery production in India, which would also change the game of electric vehicle essentially.
Yeah. At present, all these big heavy batteries are being imported from China.
Yes.
But now there is a collaboration going on with Tata and some of other big manufacturers, battery manufacturers. And I think it is in the very end of the discussion, and that may come. Tata Chemicals and Tata Power also setting up a battery plant in India.
Yeah. Apart from Tata Chemicals, there are other companies as well, like Amara Raja. They're already a very big name in battery manufacturing. They are also starting their own manufacturing plant of lithium-ion batteries in, I guess, Tamil Nadu. So a lot of players are coming into this space, and I hope with government support and the demand that is coming up for EVs, we will have in-house battery manufacturing coming up. Nitesh ji asked, can we have batteries without lithium on which India can focus? And yes, we can. In fact, an Indian IOCL is partnering up with an Israeli company called Pin Energy to build up aluminium air batteries, which will essentially, so that's the best part about electric vehicles, that you can technically, from a technological point of view, you can innovate as much as possible. पेट्रोल और डीजल व्हीकल्स का इनोवेशन पॉइंट आ चुका है, मतलब वो और इनोवेट नहीं कर सकते उसके अंदर. बट इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स सिंस दे आर जस्ट स्टार्टिंग, द बैटरी सिस्टम्स आर गेटिंग बेटर फ्रॉम टाइम टू टाइम, एंड they are focusing on other areas other than lithium ion to make sure we can have something localized as well. How do we increase battery storage efficiency, Vivek ji asked? I think this will increase as the chemistry of the battery changes. We have a lot of cobalt right now in batteries, but in the coming years, nickel will replace cobalt. So that would help in increasing your storage, battery storage efficiency, and that also will bring down the price of your battery banks in electric vehicles. So I think with the coming years, we will see a large, a good increase in your efficiency as well as your falling prices in this system.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Ravi Sharma. When do you think the numbers of vehicles will increase enough? Any projections so that the physical atmospheric pollution has a reduction impact, visible impact? Of course, it will vary from city to city.
Can you repeat your question, sir? Sorry.
When will you see a sizable reduction in emissions because of introduction of EVs?
I think it will take another good 10 years, in my humble opinion, because it's what I just presented was on the passenger segment. Uh, on the freight end, it's already started. Like the transition to electric vehicles has already started. Companies are choosing electric vehicles over petrol and diesel vehicles. You saw Amazon making a huge announcement, Flipkart. So for them, the operating, they don't, honestly speaking, they don't care much about the environment. Their whole idea is कि उनका पैसा कम लगना चाहिए, and electric vehicle की वजह से उनका पैसा कम लग रहा है. So they are now transitioning towards electric vehicles. So that is another huge chunk of uh, uh, what you can say emission producing transportation segment that will eventually uh, 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 get better. But on the passenger end, it will take another 10 years for us to say that every second or every third car is an EV. Right now, that's not the case, definitely. But by 2025, you will start seeing these changes that will come up. I hope I answered your
Yeah.
question.
Well, I am driving a hybrid vehicle, not
great.
total EV, for last 16 years abroad.
Wow.
So when will we start seeing these hybrids and electricals? Are hybrids any
I don't think
sizable, or people are going direct to
I don't think
EVs?
India will go towards hybrids. Maruti did say that they would like to go to hybrids, but हमारे यहाँ सीधा electric vehicles आएंगे.
Okay. The only big cost reduction will come with battery improvement. Rest of the machinery is already in place because of automatic sector.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nitesh also asked, can we use solar power charging station to charge EVs? Yes, definitely. That's already happening. Magenta Power, you should look it up. It's already doing this. Pratik Vyasji said lithium ion or hydrogen fuel cells, which are better for these vehicles. Hydrogen fuel cells, sadly, are still in research phase. So it will take another 10-15 years for them to become economically viable, for them to come at the stage where electric vehicles are right now. So
I am sorry to interrupt you, but for last 15 years, I am a member of SAE Hydrogen Fuel Cell Technical Committee. It's global participation. Japan, Europe, US, at least, and India is hardly emerging in that phase. The final view I see on hydrogen fuel cell is that it will be a central hydrogen production facility which produces electricity. But rest of the model that you and Professor described, both of you, would be central electric and distribution of that electricity through charging, so that you contain the dangers of hydrogen.
Yeah. Sir, I have a question for you. In fact, would love to hear your thoughts. Do you think we will come up with decentralized hydrogen production systems for example, freight transportation? एक जगह पे we have a decentralized system which is powered from solar power and converts hydrogen for these vehicles. Would be an interesting way to tackle this area.
Yeah, it is the total energy cost and the total energy choice of technologies we make. You can make hydrogen from different sources, bio, from dissociation of water, through solar or steam, or even reformation of some of the natural petroleum products can give you hydrogen. So hydrogen sources are many. The places where it has so far shown promise is in the standalone distributions, standalone generation stations. Like in Korea, they have gone to up to 50 megawatts or so in production of electricity. So hydrogen fuel cell vehicles that we have worked on for last 15 years have been more or less a waste, except for Toyota and Honda. No one has come out with commercial hydrogen fuel cell vehicles yet, even in US or Europe. So hydrogen fuel cell directly in vehicles will probably lose out to electric vehicles.
I think
most likely will lose out. But hydrogen for electricity production is the main success area. And that was a good question from Prateek and also from you. Thank you.
I completely agree with you, sir. And I think it's like how technologies generally work, right? We used to have big, bulky telephones back in '95, but now everyone has a handy smartphone. So uh, the diesel petrol vehicles will convert to electric vehicles, will convert to hydrogen fuel vehicles. That is how I see the transition happening in the next 30, 40 years. So this is definitely how technologies generally work, and hopefully we will get to the point where hydrogen fuel cells are also viable for vehicles. A great question from Mahesh ji, where he's focusing on how this is not helping our environment and bringing sustainable environment from production of these vehicles. Right? I would like to differ over here. So when it comes to the production of these batteries, right, we do have an opportunity to recycle this and reuse this. And so what happens, has somebody got a clue what happens with the vehicle battery that you use in these vehicles? Because that's where the misconception starts from, right? So in a typical electric vehicle, once it has lost 20% of its battery strength, it is unfit to use in a vehicle. But its journey does not end over there. That battery itself can be used for second use of that battery. So, for example, telecom tower uses a lot of battery systems. You can definitely use that 80% still left, much like very well maintained batteries to power that telecom towers. But when it comes to petrol vehicles, once you put in the petrol, it's forever gone. You burn that, you produce the carbon dioxide that is going to be produced, and it ends over there. So in totality, if you consider the recycling aspect of it, you only lose 30 kilograms of metal. These are facts. These are state facts. You only lose 30 kilograms of metals and components from that battery, whereas from the petrol vehicle, the emissions are 300 to 400 times more. So over its lifetime, a petrol vehicle might burn 17,000 liters of petrol, but but electric battery would only lose 30 kilograms of metals. So that is the comparison that we are looking at. So yes, mining will cost you what you can say harm to the environment, but you have to look at the bigger picture. This is what we call life cycle assessment of a vehicle. When we are putting in petrol in our cars, we never think about where that petrol is coming from. It is also being mined. It is also being taken out from different sources. And once you use it, you use it. You cannot reuse it. You cannot charge it again. You cannot keep on using it for the next 8 years. That is not how that works. That was one part of the assessment. Second part is the grid itself is not green, correct? But that's changing. In India, for example, I had mentioned 38% of it is renewable. It will go on to become more renewable in the coming days, hence reducing more carbon dioxide emissions. And over here, another point is even if you're using coal-powered plants, the emission is from one specific point, and there are ways, if the government wants, they can reduce the emissions coming from that one particular area. So the potential to make changes in this segment are huge. You still are in a phase where you can, what you can say, you can innovate, you can experiment, but all of that has finished with the current systems that we have. So we do have to move ahead. That is how things are. And on the recycling end, government has already come up with the battery waste management policy. It's a draft right now, and it will be released in the next year or two, wherein they will specifically focus on how to recycle these batteries properly with different chemistries in it. Lead acid batteries are totally recycled right now. The lithium ion batteries from your phone are recycled right now, and the same thing will happen for your car batteries as well. So yes, there will always be conversations around how this is also equally carbon dioxide emitting, but the facts don't really match up with these comments, if I may say it like that. Happy to take other questions as well if you.
Pranav Krishna here.
Yes,
there are a lot of questions which I noted, which is already answered in this case of scenario where the discussion is happening. There is very small question, as I tried. For example, petrol vehicles need QC license and everything, right? And the owner should have this driving license to be done. What if coming years people will adapt this electric vehicle? So what would be the need of licenses? What kind of licenses that those guys, the newbies, maybe zillennials, will need?
I think licensing requirements should remain same. Just that below 25 km/h vehicles, they don't require a license currently for petrol vehicles as well. तो जो तुम्हारी स्कूटी वगैरह होती है उसमें लाइसेंस नहीं लगता है अगर वो 25 किलोमीटर उसकी हाईएस्ट स्पीड इज 25 km/h. So even that's the same case in EVs. So but above that you will still require a license, proper licensing, proper registration. Everything will happen according to the law.
Great. I have few more questions for Deepak ji, because we actually spoke about a good on EV as of now. So Deepak ji will have to jump in and answer few questions. So I'll go one by one. How these companies are supporting this renewable cause? For example, you spoke about solar things. How the Indian organizations are supporting that? That's the first question.
See, as the government has come up with the National Solar Mission, many of the companies have started now going for, and there is a requirement of made in India also. So many companies are producing, those who are not directly in the renewables or solar, they are also coming up and already they have started manufacturing the solar panels. So the business has increased in the sense that the demand is increasing and local manufacturing is also increasing.
Then what all cities have started adapting this renewable sources as of now? The sources of energy which we are thinking of, कि हमको substitute use करेंगे. So what all cities have started adapting this substitutes of renewable energy?
In solar street lighting, mostly all the cities, the local bodies, they have started using the solar street lights systems. You must have seen at every railway stations, they have put up the solar power plants. Every fuel filling stations, you will find the solar power plants. Most of the restaurants and hotels, they have started using the solar water heaters, solar geysers. So that way, and good is these cities, a good number of cities have already put up the biomethanation plant for treating the urban waste.
So, for example, how much these things are affordable? For example, solar panels and everything is affordable and can be utilized to light and home. What kind of energy that it will first require, then it can be divert to the home. For example, if I have a solar panel, I can light only the fans which we have heard as of now. So is there anything that more power solar panels will come, which can also light TVs, fridge, and everything?
No, everything, whatever the work is being done through the conventional electricity, you can do the same work with the solar produced electricity. But I would suggest that one should go for feeding into the grid, so that you do not have to worry about the this storage aspect and all those things. You just, whatever this energy is produced is fed into the grid and you consume from the grid. So
is there anyone, for example, in metro cities, the flat system, anyone or maybe an organization can install grids, or how is it?
No, they do not want to install the grid. The government grid will work for them. They will feed the entire electricity produced into the grid.
So for example, you're talking about, Tata is, Adani and Tata is providing the energy, then this third source will come and they will provide the energy. Would you like to say that? Like, if I've understood it correctly.
They are the large producers. They are also supplying it to the grid. Okay. But for small producers like a family who have a rooftop area of about, say, 300 to 350 square feet of area, or 400 square feet of area, they can go for 3 kilowatt of system, solar photovoltaic power system, and that 3 kilowatt will produce somewhere around 4,500 units of electricity per year. So
per year.
All that per year, or you can say about 450 to 500 units per month. So entire this electricity that is produced will be taken up by the government grid. And suppose you consume about 600 units in a month. So you will have to pay only for the difference, 100 or 150 units. Rest it will be adjusted in the net metering. Your bill will be adjusted. So and the payback period here, if you talk about economics, the payback period with the current investment comes to almost about 4 to 4.5 years.
Okay. So for example, these panels will definitely need daily maintenance. With the sand, with the water and everything is coming up, dirt is coming up. It is actually reducing the efficiency, right? So what kind of maintenance charges, will it affect the upfront cost, or maybe, will it be viable to a common man?
It's a normal, just once a week, if it is cleaned up, that would work for normal areas. Once a week time, if it is cleaned by just putting water through the panels. And nowadays the manufacturers also supply a small pump which is powered by this solar unit, and it runs the water through this panel and it gets cleaned. So it's a small, just a small maintenance part that has to be looked into. Otherwise, there is nothing else.
And how much reliable in these kind of scenarios? For example, the environment is drastically changing. When we are doing a solar panel thing at one place, and then there are rains outside, then you may have less of wind maybe sometimes, because in 4 or 5 years right now climate is drastically changing. So how much we can rely on these sources for the future?
We have already taken 300 sunny days in a year. So we assume that around 300 to 300 sunny days will be available. So the economics runs accordingly only. So for 300 or 10 months, we say that the power will be produced, and accordingly the economics is done. So whatever be the climate, but even these panels, they do take the diffused radiation also, not the direct radiation, but through the clouds, the diffused radiations are available. Even when the power is produced, maybe the power production may be reduced, but it goes on working. So that way, that's why we say that almost about per kilowatt, you will get around 1200 to 1500 units of electricity in a year. And now the type of panels also, there are good quality of panels with higher efficiency and with higher wattage, about 540 watts of single panel with less surface area. They are also very popular nowadays. So the research is going on to increase the power output from the panel with less area.
Then you spoke about one thing
Such
that things are getting recycled. So, material in this formation of this energy also things are getting recycled. So what would is the average time of recycling happening of that waste which has been generated? I guess.
Recycling of the
For example,
panels.
yeah, no. For example, if some waste is get created for making that energy done. You spoke about that कि
Yes, yes.
solar energy का ये waste create होता है. तो
Mhm.
उसमें उसको रिसाइकल करने का बेसिकली टाइम कितना है? बिकॉज अभी डंपिंग ग्राउंड जैसा सिनारियो अगर है यहाँ पे तो उसको रिसाइकल होने का एक्स नंबर ऑफ टाइम लगता है. तो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ recycling time is it lower than that or how it is?
No, the recycling will be required after 25 years.
Okay.
The life of the panel is almost about 25 years.
Okay.
4 years your cost is recovered, and next 20 years you will be in benefit.
Great.
So then it becomes a dump, and then there would be some solution for the recycling of these waste materials. Right now there is no such issue.
So, for example, if any
very
person
nicely
wanted to
explained,
have this,
sir.
Vedika, just last question here. So, sir, every
Okay.
if someone wants to own that plant or maybe try and sell this thing, so is it possible for an individual to start this as a business if he has a high net worth, basically? So,
Many
maybe
individuals.
promoting that.
Yes, many individuals are doing this. In every city, there are Akshay Urja shops that have been approved by the government of India, and otherwise also many individuals are they are giving the bids, their price bids to the local government, state governments agencies, and once their price is approved, then they are installing the and they are getting the subsidy from directly from the government.
Yeah, done with.
One
Thank you so
question
much,
I
sir.
also have, Deepak ji, that
Yeah.
in
Sir,
here in Singapore, we have lot of buildings coming up with the green energy or the clean energy. I would say that like Microsoft, Google, and all these companies are converting their buildings to a green building, wherein energy consumption is reduced manifold.
Yes.
That way, can we have some technology in our household which we can easily use and reduce the consumption, energy consumption? The solar is obviously a alternative resource, but
Yes.
other than that, overall energy consumption, how can we reduce?
We should go for the solar architecture. Solar passive and solar active designs are there, which do not require much of energy to maintain or to heat or cool the building or to light the building. So there is a concept Griha rating. So according to that Griha rating, many of the buildings in India also are coming up, which are you can say energy sensitive in the sense that conventional energy is reduced and there is less requirement of energy for maintaining the building.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks, Deepak ji.
very nicely explained, sir.
Thank
And
you.
thank you to Pranav too. I would like to hand over to Harsh for vote of thanks.
Thank you, Vedika. सबसे पहले तो सबको बधाई देना चाहता हूँ कि पीवी सिंधु ने इंडिया के लिए ब्रॉन्ज मेडल अभी जीत लिया. तो अपनी तो बातचीत चल रही थी, बट इस बीच में ही पीवी सिंधु ने इंडिया के लिए ब्रॉन्ज मेडल जीता है.
Good.
Thank you for the good news.
Good news. Thank you. Congrats.
अरे कांग्रेस तो सबको होनी चाहिए, बट बाकी मतलब मैं ये सोच रहा था कि कोई श्लोक से, कोई कविता से, कोई ये सब से स्टार्ट करूं. तो फिर मुझे समझ में आया कि हम लोगों को ज्यादा कुछ सोचना पड़ता ही नहीं है. All we need to do is look at our past. We are already so lucky to have received such a heritage from our ancestors. अपने पूर्वज मट्टी के बर्तन में खाना बनाते थे, पत्ते पे खाना खाते थे। ट्रैवल का मतलब या तो पैदल या फिर कोई कार्ट पे। और आज तो हम ये सब लाइफ स्टाइल इमेजिन नहीं कर सकते, मैं मानता हूँ, बट जो भी हम कर सकते हैं, जैसे दीपक सर ने कहा, तो उनकी गाइडलाइंस को फॉलो करें। और जैसे प्रणव जी ने कहा, ट्रांसपोर्ट भी आजकल काफ़ी अलग टाइप की लेवल पे पहुंच गया है। तो आज कोई वैसी बात नहीं रही कि ये हमारे मतलब एक्सेप्शनली बाहर हो। रिड्यूस, रीयूज, रिसाइकल और रीथिंक तो खैर करना ही है। और बाकी it is a matter of great pride for me to be able to propose a vote of thanks for on this occasion. मुझे काफ़ी सारे familiar faces दिख रहे हैं। I must begin by thanking our technical team. They worked tirelessly behind the scenes for planning and bringing us these learning opportunities. Our introducer, Dipesh Dama, thank you for setting the right tone for this webinar. Next, I am extremely grateful for our moderator, Vedika, for coordinating this webinar so perfectly by maintaining the right energy, right tempo, and making sure that the segments flowed so perfectly. I would like to extend my generous thanks to our speakers, Deepak Sharma sir और प्रणव जी। आपने अपना संडे इवनिंग मिस किया, बट हम लोगों को काफ़ी आपसे जानकारी मिली। ये मतलब टॉपिक ही काफ़ी थॉट प्रोवोकिंग और रेलेवेंट था सबके लिए। आपने मतलब अपनी सारी एनर्जी, एक्सपीरियंस, नॉलेज कंडेंस करके ये छोटे से वेबिनार में हम लोगों को सिखाया, तो इसके लिए हम सभी काफ़ी थैंकफुल हैं आपके लिए। बाकी ऑडियंस का तो मैं क्या ही बोलूं, क्योंकि बिना ऑडियंस के कोई वेबिनार भी सक्सेसफुल हो नहीं पाता। काफ़ी सारे इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चंस आए, काफ़ी सारी इंटरेस्टिंग ऑब्जर्वेशंस आई, काफ़ी सारे कमेंट्स आए, और इनकी इंटरेक्शन के द्वारा ही हम एक अलग लेवल तक पहुंचा पाए इस वेबिनार को। और लास्ट बट नॉट लीस्ट, देवेश सर, आपके लिए तो मैं क्या ही बोलूं, आपका नाम ही मतलब DITF के साथ में सिनोनिमस ही है। आपका विजन था कि आपने ये एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट किया, आपने ये कम्युनिटी को जोड़ने का कोई एक प्रयास किया, और अब सब लोग थोड़े से एक आध साथ में बातचीत कर रहे हैं, इंटरेक्टिव हो रहे हैं। तो सर थैंक यू। मैं जस्ट यही बोलता हूँ कि आप ये सब प्रयास करते रहिए, और होप कि आगे भी ये सब टाइप के वेबिनार्स होते रहें। बाकी तो मुझे पता है कि संडे इवनिंग हो रही है और सब लोग चाहते हैं कि संडे इवनिंग अपनी फैमिलीज के साथ में मनाएं, तो ज़्यादा मैं बात नहीं करूँगा। आप लोग अपना ध्यान रखिए, और 1 अगस्त को अपनी वेबिनार हुई है। 8 अगस्त को अपनी जो नेक्स्ट वेबिनार है उसमें मैं सोचता हूँ कि सब लोग वापस अटेंड करेंगे ही। तो सी यू देन।
See you. Thank you. Thank you everyone. चलिए, बहुत बढ़िया हो गया। See you everybody on 8th.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Devesh ji. Thank you very much. See you on 8th.
Yes, sir. See you on 8th.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good knowledge sharing session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
देवेश जी,
हाँ जी,
देवेश जी पुणे से आज 10 लोग थे यहाँ।
अरे वाह वाह वाह, क्या बात है। पुणे तो वैसे ही छाया हुआ है करके, वो लास्ट कोई ना कोई तो पार्टिसिपेंट आजकल पुणे से ही हो रहा है करके। नेक्स्ट वाला भी पुणे से छाए हुए हैं करके।
यस, 20%, 50 में 20% पुणे।
वाह, ग्रेट ग्रेट। यस सर।
देवेश जी, हैदराबाद से तो मैं एक ही होगा।
वो यूं तो आइडिया नहीं, कई बार क्या वो नाम से आ जाता है ना कि भाई वो ओप्पो, वो मोबाइल का नाम आ जाता है, यू कांट नो कि क्या हाल है करके।
यस यस यस।
हेलो धीरज, धीरज अनम्यूट करना भाई।
बारिश वारिश आ रहा है क्या यहाँ पे, इसलिए?
अच्छा, बारिश आ रही है क्या वहाँ?
बारिश आ रहा है जयपुर।
हाँ, तेरा तो जयपुर में है करके। चलिए फिर मिलते हैं अपन 8 तारीख को वापस सभी लोग।
यस,
ठीक है सर। गुड नाइट एवरीबॉडी। सी यू। गुड नाइट।
इन्वेस्टमेंट चुकी की इन्वेस्टमेंट आप भाव बोले ना भाई।
होस्ट आप आई थिंक वेबिनार बंद कर देंगे तो शायद हमारा रिकॉर्डिंग इन प्रोग्रेस हो जाएगा। आगे हेलो भाई, बंद कर दे।